Hello everybody and welcome back to Let's Play Aurora 4X C#. Let me get my timer up and ready to go. So last time, unless I'm getting my parts mixed up, pretty sure last time we finished conquering GL Virginis. We still need to get people shipped over there and of course deal with all these wrecks because there's a boatload of them. Although we're starting to do that right now still. Well, I say starting. We've been doing it for a little bit, but whatever. Off screen, I did design some stuff. I'm not sure if we'll actually do it. But I did design the landing ship, as I call it, is the class type. But it's basically supposed to be a support vessel for invasions that would carry a handful of these fighter bombers, which I am referring to as the A1. These will have fighter pod bays, a size 12 fighter pod bay. They will be using a size 12 autocannon, was my plan. So it would look something like this. Armor penetration of 42, 50 damage, 3 shots. Relatively cheap. This thing is a bit overkill on the speed. I haven't quite fully determined what size engine I want to use because it doesn't need a particularly large engine because the ship that's going to be carrying it, the landing ship, has to be in orbit anyway to provide the ground support. So I'm still sort of trying to figure out exactly how I want to go about doing this, but that is roughly an idea of mine. So yeah, like I said, still trying to figure out exactly what I want to do in that regard. But this is kind of the basic concept. Now, the wiki claimed that you need a missile fire control with fighter pod bays. But of course, the game down here is telling me your ship has a missile fire control, but it has no missile launchers. So I'm not sure if I'm just misunderstanding how those work, which is certainly a possibility, just like I was, having issues with ammo transfer. So yeah, I need to sort that out, exactly how that stuff functions, but we might design those potentially, maybe. I mean, I designed the autocannon. I think it gets put under missiles. Yeah. The Venturini Advanced Defense Systems GAU 12 because it's an autocannon and it's a size 12. Nice, easy naming convention. But yeah, we'll see if those get built and if they get used at all. I'll probably research this because it's so damn cheap next time we have something ready to go. But let's go ahead and continue on. We need to start trying to ship colonists and whatnot over here. As a reminder, GL Virginis is a fairly nice planet. It's got basically all the core resources and a fair bit of it, with the only real exception being calcite. Now, we do have an unknown number of abandoned installations here, but we have a partially intact colony, so we need to get a whatchamacallem, a archaeology team, which we have building. They're due to be finished on June 9th. We'll then load them up and ship them over here. We'll probably build another one, maybe, to bring over. Because I did get rid of the survey team that we had previously, because when I split them, I decided, let's just get rid of the survey team. It turns out maybe I shouldn't have done that because, well, now I don't have them to be able to just send them out now, to at least get the process started. So, oh well. But yeah, we're kind of stuck waiting for that to all finish. Then we'll start moving population over, any additional infrastructure that's required, all of that fun stuff. We do need to rearm. Yeah, well, not rearm, but reinforce, rather. The ground force is there. That is not going to be a fun process. I personally do not find reinforcing troops, ground troops, to be a fun experience in this game. In my opinion, it's not particularly fun to deal with, but it is unfortunately something that we have to deal with. So we're kind of stuck in that regard. Basically, we either do it or we don't do it. And if we don't do it, that means those guys are going to be, under strength. But I mean, I guess it's okay, technically speaking. I can just build more and they can be considered the garrison forces of the planet. The reality is the troops aren't exactly that expensive to build. The main issue is just that it's going to result in a kind of bloated army, in a sense, because we're going to have all of these assault troops that are serving a defensive purpose, which is not what they're intended for. And they're going to be oversized for the populations that they're meant to sort of protect and police. So we don't really want to do that, all things considered, if we can avoid it. But we might end up just saying, screw it, if I'm being completely honest. So, okay, there we go. Let's go here to you. Slap one of those on. Now, I gave you a magazine because my understanding, according to the wiki, is that fighter bomb bays do not get, or excuse me, fighter pod bays don't get, like, the word I'm looking for is like right on the tip of my tongue. They don't get like consumed like missiles do, is my understanding. At least according to how the wiki phrased it. But again, I've had issues with the way the wiki phrases stuff, so I'm not fully certain if that works as the intent. So the idea was that I was going to sort of also load up basically enough for a single replacement for every single one of these. This allows for the ship to still be relatively small at only 17,000 some odd tons and be still relatively quick at 9,400 kilometers a second. It's actually pretty decent. Biggest thing we need to do is, you always want some sort of basic active sensor on your ships. Generally a resolution 1. And I'd like to always have passives on all ships, period. Oh, how are the garrison things going? Those are all... last one's not going to be done until August. Okay, we'll survive. Syseti B1 is going to continue to complain. But it's okay. We'll live. Let's see, what do we have to research now? Well, not have to research. What else do we have that we can research? I mean, theoretically, I guess we could go for... well, max track time. Why not? It helps. Very clearly. Question, though, is... do I have somebody who's better at that? Yes. My 2 good people for sensors and control systems are currently busy until sometime next year at the earliest, it looks like, for one of them. The other one's a couple more years after that. So let's not go for that right now. because I'd have to put somebody who can only have 10 labs. They got a decent bonus, but only 10 labs. Or it can have twice the labs, but a third the bonus. Doesn't exactly work out in my favor, in my opinion, to go that route, so we're not going to do that. Better fuel consumption is not the worst thing to research. It would allow us to have, potential changes to our missiles, because that is something that affects them. If I were to take our planned potential theoretical upgrade of the RIM 8100s that we currently use, they need 2,191 fuel. If I get that down to, or improve the fuel efficiency to a 0.2 liter per engine hour, that saves me about 900 liters of fuel. Or excuse me, 100. I don't know how I was reading that so wrong. Yeah, it's like 150 liters of fuel. And it does result in the speed going up because I can carry less fuel, which means I can go with a slightly larger or slightly more boosted engine, or some combination of the two. If we can get this all the way down to the best, actually he uses more fuel because the game says, well, you got all this extra weight. It means slap a less or a more boosted engine on there, which actually then means it uses more fuel, but it is significantly faster. Of course, we can modify things as needed to adjust for that, but that is the potential design that tool suggests, basically. But that is a very long research. Very, very long. 250,000 research points, even with Vladik here with his 31 labs and a 50% bonus, which is very nice. That's going to take a while. With the 10 labs right now that he currently would have, that is 21,600 annual research points. So you're looking at like a little over a decade, like 12 years, I want to say. Obviously, get him the other 21 labs, and that'll go down a fair bit, but it's still a fairly long research. One thing I do want to double check on our lasers. I don't recall. Are the current ones 5 seconds? Yes, they are. Okay, that's always. I just wanted to double check that because with them being 5 seconds, I don't really need to choose instead to try to go for the capacitor recharge rate while Vladik is still working for us. Okay, Salvage Fleet 1 has completed the currently assigned operations, and it still excuse me, it still has an absolute boatload of cargo capacity. So let's go ahead, and one thing I do wish that I could do a bit easier, and I'm just going to go ahead and pull this off to my second screen so I can see what the hell I'm doing a little easier. So let's go ahead and have you grab all of the ninjars here. Yeah, we'll do that for now, and then grab the Renos that are on screen here, and that's fine for now. I fully expect they're going to have to make a couple of trips, because that's a absolute boatload of stuff they're needing to try to salvage. The unfortunate thing for us is that they're not going to have any useful techs. So we're not going to, well, we're unlikely to get any research points to anything. I mean, I could certainly be wrong. Maybe they do have something that we don't, but I wouldn't count on it. We'll also need to get our... Well, technically, those aren't actually FA2s, I believe. I'm pretty sure those were upgraded to the current FAs that we use, which I think are 4? Or was it 3? Or are we actually on 2 for the strike fighters? I don't recall. Oh, no. Okay, they are 2s. Never mind. We're going... June 13th. I could have sworn it was June 9th. Did it actually slow down? Really? I can understand that if you're having, you know, material issues, but that's unlikely to be the case. And okay, we have run into a Tekka blocking the gate to FL Virginis. So escorts, detach. Contacts, move here, 200,000. Actives on. Do I not have your actives on? No, I don't. There we go. Now they are. Okay. Up. Auto assign fire control, assign to fleet. Assign to fleet, open fire. How long until you guys close? About an hour. Oh no, I was looking at the wrong person. Never mind. Okay. 30-second increments. I'm surprised that they're still flying towards us, honestly. And I can't say I'm a big fan of that. I'd much prefer for them to fly off. But okay, they're dealt with. Fleets go here. Join a subfleet. And shut those off. Make sure that all of our cargo guys have their actives on. Okay, and they do. Just for some reason, you guys weren't, and I don't know why. Well, that's been corrected for next time. And that's the most important thing. We don't have to worry about it next time. I think we were bringing... Oh, actually, I think we were... Never mind. I think we're already bringing over stuff. I kind of forgot that we had queued that up at the end of the last part because I figured I'd forget to do it. And then, you know, start this part and I'm like, oh yeah, no, we're going to hold off on doing that until next time. But nope, never mind. We're actually already doing it. So we already have people being shipped over to Geo Virginis. Yep, there we go. We have 0.52 million living here right now. I don't think we actually have enough infrastructure to fully support the planet or the population. Yes, that is in fact correct. We are a bit over by about 0.2 million. But we'll survive. We'll survive. I do need to go ahead and get people here. So let's see. What do we want? Let's go for pop growth, mining. No, actually, production and mining. And you went to the university on Epsilon Indy. Also, yes, we can rename our universities. So, Rename that one. Oh, and we don't have somebody in charge of the sector, because annoyingly that person keeps dying, and the game doesn't seem to automatically have an option to, say, assign somebody to this. Don't know why. I really don't know why there's not an option to auto-assign to sector. But okay, we need to go ahead and do that. So sectors eligible. We need civilian administration of at least 6. And let's go for, let's see, pop growth, production, mining, and then terraforming in that order. And try to find somebody who actually does a little bit of all of them if at all possible, but unfortunately that doesn't look to be the case. We have you, who is a 20% to pop growth and 5% to production, but 0 to mining and terraforming. We have you, pop growth and mining, but no production or terraforming, which admittedly is probably more important to me overall than production. So yeah, we're going to go for you. Yeah, we'll deal with the unrest on Saiceti once we get the garrison troops over there. They're going to continue complaining until then. So they'll have to wait till August for that. The STOs there don't provide enough policing, basically. Okay, archaeology team finished. Expeditionary Strike Group 1, load ground unit, archaeology team, fly out 2. I don't know why GL Virginis is not showing up in this list, but for some reason it isn't. Unload all ground units, fly back to Sol, refuel, resupply at Earth. And they can get us started on recovering the infrastructure from the intact, well, the partially intact colony. And it's only partially intact because we kind of sort of accidentally, I guess, lasered it from orbit a little too much prior to even the invasion itself, because we were trying to kill the STOs before we actually sent in the ground troops so they didn't shoot at our transports. Although the fact that it seemed like they had point defense STOs on the planet that we were engaging, it does seem as though, yeah, how about no? Yeah, that's a no from me, game. Okie dokie. Let's, oh, god damn it, game. Oh shit, there's quite a few guys here, apparently. Come on, wake up. You gotta get rid of the jump shock. Get rid of your jump shock. Okay, there we go. Okay. We're gonna have to deal with these fucking raiders. They're deciding to pop in at Omega Ceti now for some reason. It's the third time, actually, that we've engaged them here. And it's a little annoying after a while. In theory, I think... Actually, I don't know. How fast are our troop transports? They might have been able to outrun that, I'm not certain. I might have been able to have them jump up to a waypoint up here and then go down. But it's easier to just deal with them, all in all. So, follow 200,000 kilometers. Whoops, not 20,000, 200,000. You guys have the older missiles equipped, correct? Yes, you do. Okay, wonderful. So, well, actually, change of plans. You're not going to go ahead and follow the Gatas. You're going to follow Tekka 111. Because the Gatas is going to get nuked. We will have the alarm fire. As you guys approach. There we go. Don't know if that's enough to deal with the Gatas. We might need to fire another salvo. Yep, looks like we need one more salvo. But it's set in the water. If I had my assault shuttles, I could try to capture it, but we're not going to bother with that. Come on, select you. Thank you. You cease fire. You need to auto-assign your fire controls. And you also have only missiles, unfortunately. I forgot about that. You guys have a while until you close the distance, especially since they're flying away from us. I might need to look into... Well, I don't actually have any new railguns that I could equip on these guys. So unless I swap them out for lasers, we're not getting any of the extra range. Because, yeah, this is the best launch velocity that we have. Do I want to potentially do that? The annoying thing is... Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Maybe. Let's see. You know, we can look into it later. We can look into the feasibility of that later. Are you not set to fire as well? You're not. Just notice that the game is only telling me that one person has a target that can't be attacked. Either because it's invalid or because it's too far away. Assign to fleet. Continue engaging. Tekka 112. Or is it 112? Yeah, excuse me, 122 actually. Now you engage 112. And get yourself a nice medal for destroying 20,000 tons, I think is what that said. that right? Was 20,000 tons? No, excuse me, 50,000 tons. Come on. There we go. Okay, ceasefire. Fly back to Earth. Expeditionary Strike Group turn back around. Unload all ground units. Fly back to Seoul. Enjoy. Now the thing that I was looking into potentially, is here. To indicate that this is just a experimental concept. Okay, so we have the Particle Beam 6 that we currently have equipped onto our brand new STOs. These do the same damage as our railguns, theoretically. Unless I'm completely misremembering these railguns. If I recall correctly, I'm pretty sure they do the same damage, right? No, excuse me. These are the 15s. So they do 4 damage each. Or excuse me, 3 damage each with 4 shots. So a total maximum damage potential of 12, assuming that all 4 shots hit from every single railgun. They weigh in at 300 tons. And of course, there's damage drop off when the enemy is further away. They have a max range of only 210,000 kilometers. On the other hand, the Particle Beam 6 does 6 damage all the way out to its maximum. It is only 100 tons heavier. However, I believe it has a slower fire rate. I believe. Correct? Yes, a rate of fire of 10 as opposed to the 5 of the railguns. Does that really matter? Not really. Not really so. We normally have 9 of those. I want to stay at about 12,000 tons or so. So we'd probably be looking at about 6 of those. I need to swap out the beam fire control for something with a bit more range. And I'm pretty sure I can't do anything about that. Yeah, 480,000 is the best we got there. It's a little bit heavier. As a result, slightly slower. Now, how much? Okay. It requires a much smaller reactor, on the other hand. A significantly smaller reactor. Rather than the 82, well, technically it's 81 power that we need. We only need 48. Which means a 105 reactor will do. Compared to the 172.5 that we currently need. No, I don't want engines or thrust or anything like that in the name of a power plant. Come on, guys. Aeromarine, I guess, is fine. So, okay, we get a little over double the range. Slightly slower fire rate, slightly larger. Well, actually, no. Would it be? Might actually be slightly smaller. Actually, I guess we'll know once we hit this. Yes, it is slightly smaller, 29 or so tons, which does mean a slight increase in speed of 22 kilometers a second. It's not bad. The big question, though, becomes, is this really an Abercrombie now? Because it's a pretty significant change. You know, if we look at our Abercrombies, they've always been this railgun configuration. Started with 315s and 1010s. And they stuck with that design up until the 2141 iteration, where we swapped out for 9 15-centimeter railguns. And we've stuck with that design ever since. And this one we'd be completely foregoing railguns entirely. It's not a railgun destroyer anymore. It is now a particle beam destroyer. Now, how large is the particle lance 18 that we have here? 900 tons. You can only have one of those. Significantly more damage, significantly lower rate of fire. Do I really need those on a destroyer, though, is the question. And I want to say no, not really. Now, we could also go for the lasers. It's always an option. But they're pretty heavy. All things considered. You know, this is almost 700 tons for a single twin turret. They're pretty heavy, and they don't do much damage. They have the same issue as railguns. They have damage drop-off if I try to engage at max range. And while we do outrange those guys, it's mostly just a case of I'd like to be able to fire them a bit sooner. I'd probably still close to 200,000 because it works. But if I could fire at them at 400, 500, you know, that's not too bad. But in that case, why not just go with the particle beams? Because at least then I don't have damage drop off at all. And so I'm always doing the max damage. So if we go with one of those, I have to take off at least 2 particle beams. And then that gets me a bit heavier again. Doing that then also brings the power requirement down to 42 instead. Now I'm going to have to make a copy of the copy. So I know what I'm looking at here. So that technically doesn't qualify because it's 41.9. It rounds up to 42 for the naming, but it's not actually 42. So I need to go with this one, which is a bit overkill, or I can slightly boost and go with a slightly smaller 90 ton. Now, I believe the explosion percent here is just, well, yeah, so it's the explosion chance. So the chance of an explosion when hit, obviously the more you boost it, the higher the chance of an explosion, and also the larger that explosion is. So ships that are in the same fleet can potentially take damage from a ship's reactor exploding. Or, well, a ship's power plant, rather, exploding. I just refer to it as a reactor because, you know, it's how I refer to things. I don't believe there is a chance of a power plant exploding, you know, when you fire your weapons. I don't believe. So it's purely a case of, do we think we're going to get shot at? If yes, maybe don't boost it unless you figure the thing's going to get killed in a single shot anyway. Like our fighters. We boost those because there's literally no reason not to. They can't survive a hit. But for our bigger ships, they can potentially survive a hit. So I kind of want to avoid boosting this, having them get shot once, and then the power plant deciding to roll that, you know, 50% chance here, which is pretty bad. Or, it would end up being like a 7% here. You say, oh, well, 7% doesn't sound too bad. And you'd be right depending upon what you're thinking about. But 7% is still more than 5%. So do I really want to risk it for the, what is that? 8 tons of weight savings? Does that really matter? And I say not really. Oh, whoops. So let's see. If we do the 6, we're slightly smaller. If we do the 4-1, we are slightly heavier. Particle lances don't get any boost to range. They always have the same range as whatever you put them in as. The only thing they do is that they double the beam strength. So we go from the 9 that it was based off of to the 18. Theoretically, I could actually, and probably should, particularly in the case of our ships, actually probably swap these out for particle beam 9s. Although that is an extra 50 tons of weight, and I don't know if that really makes a significant difference. 50 tons for an extra 3 damage and power requirement to go with it. We still managed to get, but I need a lot more power. We go from a capacitor recharge of 8 to 11. Okay, company name this Occur Kinetics. Okay, that's fine. Let's copy this. So we got a copy of a copy of a copy, basically going here. Prototype this. We're not going to bother renaming it right now. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of these get me to 12,200. So I'd probably do 5, which means I need a 55 power plant. We're just going to go ahead and, for now, we'll just slap 2 of the 44s on there. So that is, okay, let's, see, so that's a maximum of 45 damage per salvo. Let's say a maximum. Well, it is a maximum because we could always miss. This one, on the other hand, it's 36. This one is 42. Now, if we do a copy of this one, you're limited to a single particle lance on a ship. So we could do this. Still gets us 45. Slightly lower IFR. So this is still 45 max damage. 9 times 3, and then plus the 18 of this. I think we're going to go with this one. So we're going to rename component. This is the PB9, 500K, C11. That way I know that it's a strength 9 particle beam with a range of 500,000 kilometers, and it has a recharge rate of 11. And we're going to completely rename this design because this is no longer an Abercrombie. It's vastly different. So select name. The Abercrombies, I do not recall what they are. I believe they were Royal Navy destroyers? No. Were they French? No, I don't think they were French. German? No. Definitely. Yeah, they're not French because the French are the escorts. What the hell were these guys named after? Oh, destroyer escorts. Okay, yes, okay, yeah, sure, that makes sense. Okay. U.S. Navy destroyer escorts is what we were using. Guided missile destroyers. Where are you using? You're using the Chili Papa right now, but you were using the Abdil previously. But the Abdil is not this. The Abdil, I think, was British. Yes. So we're going to go ahead and name you guys after U.S. Navy destroyers. So these are going to start with the Aaron Ward. Why does that name sound familiar? Why do I feel like I have something else that uses that name or something very similar? What the hell are you named after? Oh, U.S. Navy hero ships. Okay, yep, that would explain why that issue exists. No, we're not going to name you after that. You're going to be named after U.S. Navy transports? Huh. Not ammunition ships, because I use that for ammo transports. Not amphibious ships, because I use that for the troop transports. Heroes doesn't... It seems to result in some overlap, which I really don't want to deal with. Repair ships doesn't really work. Supply ships, if I want to have maintenance supply ships, so that's a no. Yeah, you're going to go for transports, actually. Right? Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. We haven't gotten any of those out yet. We'll do that at some point. But yeah, so here's the Aaron Ward. We took quite a while to design that. Make sure I actually had you selected on destroyers, right? Not heroes. Yep, okay. Just want to make sure. So yeah, there we go. We're going to have to research those. It's going to be a little bit, I think, until we have a research lab free. Yeah, we need to wait for the next level of cloaking efficiency, but this is what we're going to go with. And I need to get rid of the 49 because I'm not going to be using you. Obsolete that component. The 92, I think, was for this battleship that I was looking at, which is... You know, when I was thinking of, hey, I need something that's able to carry a lot of guns and can just wreck enemies. Also, I could have sworn you can only have one particle lance, but clearly I was incorrect in that because I have 2 here. Or excuse me, not 2. I have 8 here, rather. No, I don't think we will. No, excuse me. It was the spinal mount laser that you can only have 1 of. That's what I was thinking of. Which this has a fair bit of range. It's got 1.6 million kilometers of range and a damage output of 24. Again, it's a laser. It has damage drop-off, so that's going to be a thing we have to deal with. It does fire relatively quickly, all things considered. For some, why is it at a C8? Why is it not a 12? So we have a 10-second. I don't know why I have this designed as a C8. But it doesn't really matter because we're not going to be using this design. I'm 90% certain on that now. Now, could make it smaller in terms of size by a fair bit, but it significantly increases the recharge, or significantly slows the recharge down. Like this one isn't too bad. 4 times increase for bringing it down like 125 tons. But yeah, if you decide to like try to have a spinal mounted laser, yeah, hope you're not planning to fire that thing often. 200 seconds. 200 seconds. Considering that you're limited to 5-second ticks, generally speaking, when you're in combat, this is going to result in carpal tunnel to try to get this thing to fire again. So, yeah. But yes, it looks like we're going to be getting some new destroyer designs out because this is, yeah, I want to be able to deal with those guys a lot faster going forward. We don't have problems dealing with them, but I'd like to be able to engage them from further out so that we can deal with them a little bit quicker. Okay, one of the garrison teams is finished. We're still waiting for the other ones. The other ones aren't done until August. Oh, shit. Thanks, game. God damn. Well, fuck me. Try to run to waypoint 2, because I think it's about the only place you guys are going to be relatively safe at, as an attempt to try to divert around. Fuck. In the meantime, these are the older escorts. These guys didn't even get the refit yet. Well, also, I haven't finalized it either, actually. So that's part of the problem. That's part of the problem. I haven't finalized it yet because I need them to get the new. I wanted to give them the new reactor. Although, why is it a R92? Oh, because you needed 2 R63s to achieve your power requirement. That's why. That's why. Okay, that makes sense, and that's why the 92 is needed. Okay. Never mind. It's a miracle that you happen to actually fall within the same power requirement. Yeah. Oof. So we don't even have shields to help here to soak the damage. Okay. First things first, colony fleet. Change of plans, you're not doing what you're doing anymore. You're not transporting anything right now. Good. Good. Okay, well, you engage Drill. Open fire assigned fleet. Okay. Game is seeming to treat it as if they came through the jump point at the same time as us. Fucking A. Where are you guys? You're in Lalande. Go back. Oh shit, actually. With how large that is, I don't think you guys have any hope of having enough firepower. Although I kind of feel like they engaged us and then they're pissing off for some reason. I don't know why. I don't like it though. We're gonna bring in the carrier strike group to do it. Cause goddamn game, what the fuck is that shit? Really? How fucking important do you think this system is that you spawned? Like, what is that? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14. Like 16 Tekkas in that one fleet and some odd number of Yaiks. And then a number of Darills and other shit out here? Really? Really? How fucking important do you think this system is? Because it's not that important. It really fucking isn't. Let's be real here. This system is just a crossroad. Nobody gives a shit about it. There's nothing here. There's no planets. That's not true. There is a planet, but it's not worth colonizing. There's some moons, which, I mean, I guess one of them has some halfway decent resources, and so I'd probably maybe eventually get around to it as an automated mining system. I mean, this one, I guess, maybe two. You know, there's 2 planets that I would maybe get around to doing. But really? Like, there's like 20 fucking Tekkas here. At least. Definitely more than that, because there was like 16 here. Let's see, 2, 4, 6, 8, 9. My math's correct there. So that's what, 24 Tekkas? Some odd number of Yaiks. 3 here. 5, 7, 9, 11 looks like. 2, 4, 6 Darills. Like, the fuck is this shit? What the fuck is this shit? Okay, yeah, so we're just gonna kind of fly away for a bit. I know I told you guys to try to make your way to Omega Ceti, change of plans, you're turning around. You're not going to Omega Ceti. We're just waiting until I don't have to worry about you guys potentially having jump shock. And then you're turning back around and hightailing your asses back to Earth. Okay, I want to assume that you're far enough away that you're not going to suffer jump shock, and you will be able to make it back to Earth to refuel, resupply, and attempt repairs. They're still flying away from us. I don't know why they're flying away from us, but they are. Thanks, game. I mean, we didn't lose anything, so it's not, you know, end of the world, but Jesus Christ, that is not what I want to see. I realize there's some wreckages here that I need to still salvage, but really? Just because there's a couple of wreckages? I mean, I understand that I guess the raiders are technically drawn to wreckages, so you can kind of use them as traps, but there's fucking 4 wreckages, and they're not even mine. They're theirs. They're not my wreckages. They're theirs. And yet end up with an freaking armada of tiny little raider fleets. Let's go ahead and get rid of all the waypoints here in Geo Virginis, because we don't need them anymore. These were all entirely for our military operation here. No longer necessary. As my timer went off, just a little bit of buzz there. We're going to go ahead and end this part here. Next part, I guess technically is going to be action-packed. Assuming that we, don't somehow magically lose what is a frickin' armada. Again, as a reminder, of, raiders who decided to just pop out of that jump point right on top of us, basically. They were camping it. Theoretically, the raiders, I'm pretty sure aren't supposed to, function that way. They're supposed to just kind of spawn wherever. They don't pay attention to the jump points. Yet, that didn't seem to be the case there. It really seemed like they were following the jump point. And that resulted in some issues, to, put it as simply as possible. Do I not have shields on the Abercrombies? I do. Why do you guys not have shields? I swear. Yeah, no, see, you got shields. What the hell? But the game... Oh, no, excuse me. That's ammo. Never mind. I'm looking in the wrong column. That explains it. I'm like, I just see 100, a bunch of gaps. 100, 100, gap. A bunch more hundreds. What the hell's going on? Oh, that's why. I'm looking in the wrong column. That's the ammo column. Shields is over here. Never mind. You guys are good to go. God damn. We swapped out all of our missiles, right? Yes, okay. Oh yes, you guys are gonna need to load ordnance, because you should be carrying the old ones until we run out of them. And you'll switch the new ones. But we have a boatload of the old ones still, because, we got 2,000 of them. Okay, yep, that's going to be it for this part. And usually I record these parts back to back, but I don't think I'm going to do that this time because, no, fuck that noise. Besides, I'm ahead enough on recordings, and I need to render all these out. I don't know how many I have. I need to search that. I'm going to pause while the game saves and see how many I currently have waiting to render. Yeah, I've got like 9 parts waiting to render. That's not including this one, so that makes it 10. Some of those I need to do the news reports at the beginning for, because it's been a while since I did one of those. Well, at least in terms of what's gone live as of me recording this. It's actually been fairly recent as the last one I did, but nonetheless, yeah. So those are coming back. I mentioned at the beginning that those were going to be something that happens periodically. Not every part was going to have them, but then I ended up with like a long gap there where they just didn't have it, because I just didn't see anything interesting enough to warrant doing one for. But yeah, so oh god, that's gonna be... I think I'm gonna have to do a news report for that one, for that right there, because that definitely, I think, warrants one. That's a big WTF thing. Yep, okay. Oh my god. Yeah, next part's going to be pretty action-packed. And I'm going to make sure to put in my notes so I don't forget that that's why I was sending the Carrier Strike group out there, because otherwise I probably will forget, since I'm not doing the 2 parts back-to-back like I normally do. Oof, okay, yep. That's going to be an action-packed part. I will see you all next time. Quick reminder, if you want to stay up to date with the channel, my go-to place for posting channel updates is my Discord server. There's a link to it down below in the description. There's there's no requirements to join, of course, but again, if you want to stay up to date with the channel, know about things that will affect my recording and when I get back to streaming, which is probably going to be after I finish this move that I'm supposed to be doing. I do have now more concrete information. I haven't actually posted it yet in my Discord as of recording this video. And I think by the time this video goes up, the move will probably have already been completed or will be completed within the week. I'm not quite sure off the top of my head when this video goes up. I'm pretty sure this video, though, will go up after the move has been completed. My plan is to start streaming again after I finish the move. I just need to, do that at the end of February. Well, near the end of February. It's like the last full week of February, if I recall correctly. But nonetheless, yeah. So that's my go-to place for posting those types of updates, so you all know about potential interruptions to the schedule. If you want to support the channel financially, the two major ways to do that are Patreon and Streamlabs. Patreon works best if you want to do monthly consistent donations, or well, not donations, but support. While Streamlabs works best if you want to just do like one-time or periodic, or even, just additional support on top of a Patreon support. Whatever strategy works best for you, any support is appreciated. Of course, because it allows me to be able to do things like upgrade my computer, buy games, things like that. Because I'm not a big enough channel. I don't get games sent to me for free all that often. And while I do periodically request them, when it's something that interests me, sometimes if they take too long to get back to me, the games come out, I tend to say screw it and buy it anyway, and cancel my request. But yeah, so I do, I have to spend my own money to buy games. Obviously, Aurora is a free game, so that's not an issue for this particular series, but for other series on the channel that have happened in the past and will happen in the future, fair few of them I've had to, pay out of pocket to get the game. So being able to get any sort of even small amounts of financial support is very helpful. But that's going to be it for this part. I will see you all next time. Glory to the Republic, and hope you, are ready for a lot of action next time, unless they disappear. But until then, goodbye and farewell.